Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 832, written by Iridescenteen. Little boy and puppy aged 20 years and 20 seconds. I live in an apartment complex, and I was walking back from picking up my package at the front office. As I was walking back, about 15 to 20 yards away from me was a small white puppy. Looked kinda like a bull terrier, and a little boy chasing after it. I started walking faster towards them because I was worried that the little boy was lost or something along those lines. Anyways, as I'm walking, the puppy runs around a corner to where I can no longer see it, and the kid chases after it. I then hear a dog crying and whimpering, so I start running, worried that the dog and maybe even the child got hit by a car or injured in some way. As I turn the corner though, there is a full-grown man and an adult, grown white dog. I was shocked, like what the hell happened? I looked around too, and there was no little boy or little white puppy around, just a full-grown man and a full-grown white dog. And no, they didn't just look smaller because it was from a distance. It wasn't that far at all. And it was a literal toddler child and a tiny puppy. It wasn't just a vision thing. I don't know what happened, but I'm still tripping about it. I feel like I should add in. I live in an on-campus college complex meant for freshmen. No children, no full-grown men that I know of. And the only way to have a dog is by filling out an emotional support animal form. But only one dog or pet is allowed. Case notes for file 832. Little boy and puppy, aged 20 years and 20 seconds. So ordinarily I would say, the little boy and the younger bull terrier probably were just scared off by some older man with a similar looking dog that's just older as well. And they were just, coincidentally around the corner. But as you described the location, being this college freshman campus, where there's no old men allowed with dogs, or young children for that matter, why would some toddler child be running after a dog anyways? Where are the parents? So does that mean this indeed was some sort of temporal anomaly? We have universal peering, where you're seeing into the alternate universe. We have dimensional shifts, where objects disappear, vanish, go out of phase temporarily. But seeing into the future so far, well, that would only be possible if each universe has its own buffered system, and it's well in advance. Maybe the whole course of the universe, or at least dozens of years ahead, is buffered. Maybe it's not just a few minutes. In that case, you are seeing a buffered version of who they're going to be in the future. Apparently the child grows up to still like dogs, which is good. Dogs are good for us. Get a dog if you don't have one. And now I'm gonna go feed Mr. Ben. Case file number 833, written by Snow Meow 7. The strangest 13th hole in the world. My husband and I are members of a country club with two different courses. The last time we played course A was on the 5-8, and the strangest thing happened on the 13th hole. We were just teeing off when someone from the group behind approached in their cart asking if someone had lost a pitching wedge, PW, in the middle of 11 fairway. I looked at my husband assuming it was him because it certainly wasn't me. I just hit PW off a 12T, a par 3. And while yes, I did hit PW into 11 green, it would be impossible for me to then use my PW on the next hole. I'll also add that I played D1 college golf, and leaving a club behind is just not something I would ever do, let alone in the middle of a fairway or on a tee box had he meant to say otherwise. As such, I say to the guy, "No, it can't be me." And he says, "TaylorMade 790? TaylorMade is a brand, and 790 is one of their lines of irons," and holds out my PW. How is this possible? We never saw that group again for the rest of the round, which is also weird because they'd totally been on our ass. This morning, my husband and I played course A with my dad. As we pulled up to 12T, I started telling him about the unexplained PW happening from last month. He's weirded out. Once in 13 fairway, ready to hit our approaches from around 150 yards away. We can see there's a random ball on the front of the green. We get up there and I say to my dad and husband something to the effect of "free ball for you," because it's gotta be a crappy ball if it got left behind on the green, and the only ball I've played for the last 15 plus years is the Titleist Pro V1. Same as above on brand and model. My dad picks up the ball and rolls it over to my feet after I finish my putt. I'm wondering why he's put some rock flit, golf slang for junkie ball, in my general direction and not kept it for himself, because he is known to hit range balls on the course on occasion. I am shocked to see it's actually a fairly new Titlis of some variety. Pro V, he says. Now, at $50 a dozen, a Pro V is not a ball you casually leave on a green. Also, fellow golfers would agree, who would do this in general with any ball? But then I catch a somewhat worn-off orange Sharpie marking over the Pro V1 lettering and pick it up for closer inspection. This ball is my ball. I mark mine with the script SM in orange over the lettering, and it is without a shadow of a doubt that this is a used ball of mine, clear as day right here on the 13th green, a month later, and somehow also passed over by the groups in front of us this morning. I checked my card for that day and I made a par, so I didn't hit one in the water. Even if it was found from a round prior to that, how did it end up here for me? Two things I did not lose being returned to me on the 13th hole. The first one was weird enough, but now with this today, I have no rational explanation. Also, for clarity, it is golf etiquette to mark your golf ball with a Sharpie, whether with your initials like me or dots or whatever you prefer for easy identification within your group and in the event you lose your ball and need to confirm it's yours. The strangest 13th hole in the world. Reading this, it's clear there's no duplicates, so the items that went missing literally did go missing without you noticing, and then reappeared as you needed them. Now, I don't think you dropped them or anything like that. You're an experienced golfer, clearly. They were taken from you by some entity or the universe not allocating memory to storing the information of their existence. There's conceivable methods to this. If the universe is buffered, then the universe has that information stored. It'll know when the items are needed. Because I think that's part of the buffering. It's not exactly a replay, it's the information stored in the replay if you're watching a movie or something. Even better in a video game where the game world itself still has to be created and loaded, but it can replay the settings and scenes just by the information given. So it's predictive loading, if that makes sense. And so that way, yeah, it knew where you're going to be, so it just loaded the object there, even though it was taken. Maybe it was taken actually, and the universe wanted to restore it, because it's important, for some reason, that you have that ball and the PW, as you call it. Bonus file, written by Outrageous Term, 2395, Supernatural Cleaning. I work as a janitor, which means I'm alone and working deep into the night. I clean 3 buildings. The last building that I clean has been giving me the creeps basically ever since I started this job. I've heard voices in the janitor closet closest to me twice, seen a shadow peek out of the men's restroom once, etc. The voices couldn't have been from outside because this building is in an extremely small town in the mountains. There's a field right next to it and a convenience store across the road from it. Plus, by the time I get there, it's roughly 8:30 p.m. Anywho, last Monday, I was driving to the building, and the second it came into sight, I had a bad feeling. A very bad one. If it wasn't for work, I would have left. I parked, clocked in, did alarm stuff, and was getting all my cleaning supplies together. But the second I walked into that building, I felt very unwelcome. The entire time I was cleaning downstairs, I could feel something watching me, like the feeling you get along your shoulders or upper back. I felt this before, but it was intense. I thought it would go away once I got to cleaning upstairs like it usually does, but it just followed me. I didn't even mop or take the trash or recycle out when I was done. I set the alarm as quick as I could and got to my car. I left a message over the supply line to let my bosses know I had a bad feeling and just left the trash in the closet. I couldn't even calm down driving home. I had the light on inside my car for the majority of the ride. I thought I was crazy at first, but I never get this feeling at the other 2 buildings, nor have I heard voices or seen anything there. It's just this one that's giving me the creeps. For some reason, it's especially heavy in the men's restroom. I'm thinking someone may have died there, and it's right next to the janitor's closet. It's an old building. I don't know how old, but it was around in the 70s, I know that. I just needed to vent this somewhere. It's freaking me out.